Daniel, well, that's a lot of progress from last weekend. A great qualifying effort.
Thanks. Yes, Jensen. It was a really good, it's been a good weekend. Friday was good, and qualifying, yeah, we just felt really good on the medium. So stayed on it for the rest of the session, and probably a few people were like, oh, why didn't they try the soft? But I personally felt like we had a lot more speed on the medium. So yeah, put us on P5, so it's a good start.
So have you guys changed a lot since last weekend?
We have a little bit. There's been a couple new parts, but nothing massive. But we've changed actually the setup a bit. And I think when you come to a track, 2 weeks in a row, it's like, in a way, you get a little bit where you've got time to be a bit creative, and we tried some stuff which worked. So I think we found some good things the last 7 days.
So in front you've got the Hulk in third. First race for many months. I'm sure it's going to be tough for his neck.
Yeah.
You got Max in P4, who you're really close to. You've got to be aiming for the podium.
Yeah, it's certainly the ambition. Max starts on a hard tyre, so you'd think there's a little bit of start performance he might miss there, and the Hulk, who knows what will happen, but I know after 10 laps his neck's going to be pretty sore, so we'll see. I mean, we just got to keep the pressure on, I think, all the race and see what happens, but I think it's going to be fun. Probably 2 stops as well. I don't think it's going to look like last week, so that should change things up as well.
Cheers, Daniel.
Thanks.
Esteban. So yesterday, I'm thinking that it probably wasn't the perfect qualifying session for you.
No, it definitely wasn't. We are a little bit disappointed of how the session went. Obviously, we were looking, to progress and do the same progress as Daniel did. It didn't turn out that way. We found out a few issues on our side of the garage. But the positive note is that, on Daniel's side, the car is quick, and that shows a very positive sign for the rest of the season. Obviously, there's a race to do today. We are looking, to get in the points and see where we can get from that.
Yeah, and your race pace has been good, really good over the last few races. Qualifying, as you said, this weekend not perfect, but with a choice of tyre for strategy, you must be pretty confident for a great race today.
Yeah, exactly. We'll try things as well. I think looking at where we start, there's not much to lose. So from P14, we have a great car pace normally in the race. We've done some great moves, last week, so hopefully we can repeat the same.
Excellent. Would you like to say something in your own language?
Bien sûr. Je pense que ça a été une journée difficile hier avec une qualif pas au top. Mais aujourd'hui c'est la course, c'est complètement différent, c'est là où ça compte. Donc on va essayer de remonter et se mettre dans les points.
Merci.
Thank you, bye.
So Kevin, that was a pretty difficult qualifying session, it looked to me yesterday, and normally you're pretty evenly matched in getting the maximum out of the car, so talk us through what went wrong.
I don't really, this weekend it's just been, a massive struggle. From first practice on Friday, the car just, behaved very differently to last week. Don't really know why exactly. I think, we put a new floor, a few new parts in the car on last weekend, and then we had that crash on Sunday, so we had to go back to the parts that we've used since winter testing. So it could be, related to that, but we don't really know. It's hard to understand why the same car can be, way off the pace suddenly, but we'll see what we can do today.
Okay, well, we wish you luck with that. Maybe a few words in Danish, please.
Ja, havde en svær dag, eller svær weekend i det hele taget. Har kæmpet med bilen siden fredag, og må prøve at se, hvad vi kan gøre i dag.
Thank you very much. So Roman, P13, normally that would be considered an unlucky number, but I think you're probably thinking that was not a bad qualifying session.
Yeah, no, true. I mean, it's been, on the contrary of Kev, I've been happy with the car the whole weekend and managed to extract the maximum yesterday. Short term, our goal is to try to get into Q2, at least with one car. We've done that. Hopefully we can get 2 cars in Q2 or even higher in the next events. And race pace normally a bit better than quali pace, so let's see what we can get today and if we can get those tires to last a little bit longer than others.
Okay, well, wish you luck with that. A few words in French, please.
Effectivement, plutôt une bonne qualification hier avec une 13e place sur la grille, donc je suis assez content avec ça. Maintenant, on va voir aujourd'hui ce que ça donne. On a normalement un rythme de course qui est meilleur que le rythme de qualif, donc j'espère qu'on va pouvoir s'occuper de ses pneus et bien ne pas trop les dégrader pour aller chercher peut-être les premiers points. Merci.
Nico, you must have woken up this morning with a big smile on your face after putting the car P3 yesterday. I have to say it was a very impressive job.
Thanks. No, I never smile. But yeah, quite happy about yesterday, but obviously today, is a huge mountain to climb for me. Big task ahead. But you know what, I'm just trying to go out there, have some fun and enjoy as much as I can.
Yeah, I spoke to Daniel a bit earlier, and he was saying he's just waiting for the neck to go, because they say be fit for F1, but you do as much as you can, but nothing is like the real thing, is it?
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing, no machine in the world can simulate G-forces with bumps and vibrations. So it is what it is. Luckily, these cars, have good headrests, so I'm not gonna give Daniel that favor, hopefully, but it's definitely gonna be a tough afternoon.
Yeah, and you're very new to this team. Obviously, you were with the team a couple of years ago, but do you understand the strategy and running through the programs, fuel saving, obviously recharging with this car throughout the race?
Yeah, I think I do. I mean, I think the principles are the same kind of everywhere. There's kind of different wordings for it, or a different way to do it, but in principle it's all the same. And even with tires, I think that side is pretty well covered. It's just more about, getting to know this car in race trim with all the different fuel loads, different tire age. This is obviously what I'll have to learn today.
You've gone throughout your F1 career, which has been a good career, but you still haven't stepped on that podium. Many reasons. We all know that you have the talent to do that. I remember Brazil 2012 when you were actually leading and crashed. Is it today?
I don't know. I think that's a big ask, and obviously the expectations are always high when you start right up the front. But I think, as much as I'd like to say yes, I think I need to be realistic, one step at a time. I think I have a car underneath me that will allow me to do that, but obviously many other challenges ahead of me for me personally, so I'll deal with it as it comes.
Would you like to say something in German?
Ja, spannender Tag heute. Ich habe natürlich quasi die Zugspitze vor mir und ich bin eigentlich kein Bergsteiger, also eine Riesenaufgabe heute. Ich freue mich aber trotzdem drauf, werde alles reinlegen, alles geben natürlich. Ich bin mir ziemlich sicher, dass wir auch ein gutes Auto haben im Renntrim und ich will einfach Spaß haben, das Rennen so viel genießen wie ich kann und werden am Ende des Tages sehen, dass wir hoffentlich was Gutes, Zählbares auf dem Konto haben.
Thanks.
Tschüss.
Lance, I'm sure normally you'd be happy with a P6, but this guy went and put in a pretty mega lap, didn't he? But looking ahead, you feel you've got a good car underneath you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Nico did an outstanding job yesterday, so hats off to him. And yeah, really excited about today. We're starting in a good position to fight the guys ahead of us. Should be a close run down to turn one, as it always is here, and then from there it's a long race and plenty of opportunity.
Have you guys learnt a lot from last weekend? Because it wasn't the easiest race for you last weekend.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise. I don't think we expected to drop down the order like that. We were kind of a sitting duck on the straights, maybe running a little bit too much down for us. So we changed that up this weekend, and hopefully it'll put us in a better position for today.
And strategy, you obviously run through all these strategy simulations. Do you think you guys are going to be trying something a little bit different with strategy?
Yeah, we'll see how the race pans out. I mean, there's Verstappen in front of us, starting on the hard tire, and then there's I think Ricardo has one less prime than us, so there will be some decisions we'll have to make during the race. But we need to see how the tire lasts in this race because. You know, it's very much between a one-stop and a two-stop. So we'll see how the first stint goes, and from there we'll have to make some calls to see what we're going to do.
Yeah, but the great thing is you've got two cars near the front, a lot of information there. I'm sure that's going to help you throughout the race in terms of understanding stints and tyre wear.
Absolutely, and it's just going to be a really exciting race. I mean, there's a lot of cars around us with very similar pace. I think the Renault is going to be strong today. Daniel's in a good position. You know, Max is a fighter, as we all know, and behind us there's you know, a Ferrari with some strong pace and some other guys. So I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be a great battle out there.
Excellent. Thank you, Lance.
So Lewis came up short yesterday in qualifying, but still basking in the glory of that great victory last weekend. So tell us a little bit about where it slipped in quali and your mindset for today's race.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, as I said yesterday, Valtteri did a great job with his final lap. I think he was probably a little bit more comfortable on those medium tires. The first lap was generally really great, and then the second one, it was a bit everywhere. Just turn 4, turn 6, turn 7. I think probably turn 13, and then yeah, so everywhere. Just small little drops, and meant that we're second. But that gives us a good opportunity today to fight, being on the front row with Valtteri, and it's not an easy track to follow. You know, last year we had this big debris and issue with his tires, and now we have a softer set, so it's going to be interesting to see how we manage them today.
And strategy-wise, for those that are just tuning in, then there's different compounds. Track temperature maybe about similar to last week, so it seems to me that it may be more towards that two-stop.
Yeah. Already last week we could only just make a one-stop work with those tires. So today, being a softer set, I think it's highly unlikely that anybody would even attempt to do a one-stop. And so then it's how you manage the tires into that 2. I just hope it's not. I think 2 is better, more excited than 1 anyways. I don't think we should ever be in the one-stop region at any of these races. They're doing Pilates or something like that, exercises, yoga. Yeah, it's. I think the temperatures are okay today, but you know what? The great thing about Silverstone is the wind. It's just in a great spot where you get these massive gusts from different places, and it really makes it so tricky out there. So from one day, Friday, the car's perfect everywhere, and then Saturday, it's like up on this. It's like flipped upside down, and it doesn't work in some corners, but it works in some. So I think we're going to experience that today.
And you enjoy that? I've never heard a driver say he likes the wind.
No, I do. I mean, that's why one of the things that I think adds to this track to be as great as it is, and of course it makes it damn harder for us today. We shall see how we each of us manage it.
Okay. Well, we wish you luck for today.
Thank you.
So coming on to our pole sitter, Valtteri, that was a very great and exciting session yesterday. We could hear your excitement because you've got one of the toughest jobs in Formula One. You've got one of the best cars, but one of the greatest competitors. So proud of yesterday, and it sets you up well for today.
Yeah, of course, it was a good day, and it's a really nice feeling when you just get the lap right and you get the pole position. obviously it's always going to be about fine margins, so then it feels even better. So yeah, of course, then it's a good starting point for today. Just really need to get the job done.
How much of the actual setup that you can adjust in terms of wings and tire pressures and what have you, do you need to adjust from a qualifying lap in this Mercedes car and then going into full tanks on the Grand Prix itself?
You know, it's not massive in terms of setup, and obviously we're quite limited to what we can do, but it's not like a night and day in terms of car setup and you know, front wing angle or tire pressures. But just the main difference is the driving style. It's very different from qualifying kind of full gas attack versus in the race you need to be really smart on and efficient on your driving, of course, for the power unit from the energy side, but for the tires. So you need to be, you know, a bit cautious in the right places and right corners and right part of the corners. So it's kind of constant thinking process how I can get to the flag the quickest is quite different to the qualifying.
Well, it's a great way to celebrate extending your contract by taking pole position, so well done for that. And now if you'd like to say a few words and finish, please.
Yeah, thank you. Kaikki valmista kisaa. Valmistelut on mennyt ihan normaalisti ja viimeinkin aurinko paistaa, että aamulla oli vähän sumusta, näytti, että tulee viileämpi päivä, mutta näköjään tulee ihan lämmintä, mutta kaikki ready ja tiedän mitä pitää tehdä, että mulla on niin kuin totta kai yksi tavoite kisaa, mutta se miten se tehdään, niin siinä on monta osa-aluetta, mitkä pitää asua kohdilleen, mutta ei ole epäilystä, ettei olisi vauhtia ja totta kai tiimikaveri koittaa pistää painetta varmasti koko kisan ajan kovaa, mutta vältetään virheitä ja koitetaan saada hyvä lähtö ja siitä lähdetään. Ei muuta kuin hanaa. Thank you.
Charles, obviously not the qualifying that you were hoping, I'm sure, after such a great qualifying effort last weekend. What would you put that down to?
Probably to the tires, to be honest. Already last week, obviously we've been very aggressive with the downforce level, and we were at the limit of finishing the lap with those tires, struggling towards the end of the lap with the grip. And this week it's quite a bit worse. So yeah, we lost quite a bit of time in the third sector, and that's why we expect a quite difficult race today too.
But you won't be running the soft tire in the race, I'm guessing. So now running on the medium and the hard tires, it puts you in better stead, a bit more like last weekend, right?
Yeah, but last weekend I think we had a clear advantage compared to the others, as we made it through to Q3 with a medium, and many of the others didn't have the chance to go through with a medium. This week everyone is on the medium, so our advantage will be quite less.
Where are you aiming for this race? We all have strategists telling us where they think the car can finish, but you personally?
I think, to be honest, yesterday was the position, the realistic picture of our car at the moment, but I'll be extremely happy with the top 6.
Cool. Would you like to say something in your own language?
Qualif plus difficile hier comparé à la semaine dernière. Aujourd'hui on s'attend à une course compliquée, on a un petit peu de mal avec ces pneus qui sont plus tendres, mais bon on va tout donner, top 6 ce serait incroyable, mais très honnêtement la 8e place d'hier reflète la position qu'on a en ce moment avec la voiture qu'on a.
Thanks.
No problem.
Seb,
Nice
thank you. So it's really weird stood here talking to you after qualifying yesterday. This is a circuit that's always been so good for you. You've always been so confident around here and always done a fantastic job. It's been a tough couple of weeks for you. You said in qualifying that you felt like you actually did a good lap. Where, now looking at the data, have you seen that you're losing?
Well, in the same places as last weekend, so yeah, it's certainly not great. I think the feeling in the car was better this weekend, but yeah, the pace wasn't. So I think on one hand it's good news for last week, because we were able to overcome that lack of feeling and still put things together. But obviously at the moment putting things together seems to be a big split between Charles and myself. Not quite sure why that is, but I'll have to make the best that I can and be as open-minded as I can every time I get back in the car.
Yeah, I mean, today you must have a bit more confidence in being able to get something good out of the car.
Well, we see. I mean, I see what I get when I jump in, but yeah, obviously the pace at the moment isn't great. It's not like, you know, we are qualified where we are for you know, something that went wrong. I think we tried everything, and that's where we are. So it will be tough to fight for points, but yeah, we see and hope to make the difference.
We all know that you're a hard worker, and you're here, the last one to leave, trying to work out. So yeah, disappointed in seeing where you are. But hopefully next weekend, when you put Silverstone behind you, you'll be fighting close to the front.
Well, I hope that we have a good race today. I really like this place, as you mentioned, and normally it's been a good place for me. So yeah, hopefully we can finish on a high, at least as high as it gets. But yeah, you know, the next one is coming quick. We have the next race next weekend, and in Spain I think things will be a bit different. I hope so, at least, and we'll take it from there. But first of all, I look forward to this race today.
Would you like to say something in your own language, Seb?
Not really.
We know you do.
I can. Ja, ist natürlich im Moment ein bisschen der Wurm drin, aber ja, ich hoffe, dass wir heute einen versöhnlichen Abschluss auf der Strecke finden werden nach den 2 Wochen, die jetzt nicht so gut waren. Ich freue mich auf jeden Fall fürs Rennen, und ja, was die Strategie angeht, hoffe ich, dass wir ein bisschen was anderes aus dem Hut ziehen können, was uns vielleicht dann ein bisschen in eine bessere Position bringt. Auf jeden Fall viel Spaß.
Okay, Seb. Get another mask.
So Max, not as maybe strong in qualifying as we would have predicted, but it's still a solid position to go into this Grand Prix.
Yeah, we had a few little things which didn't go well in qualifying. So today, I think the race shouldn't be a problem. We should be getting past the racing point and then do our own race. I don't think we can fight with Mercedes, but yeah, I'll try to, of course, be as close as possible.
Now, we know that last weekend, had you not gone for that extra set of tyres, then you could have been standing here as the winner of the British Grand Prix. Does something like that, you just let it go straight away, or has that been niggling away at you this week?
Well, no, I mean, to be honest, I didn't really think about it. Even if we would have won the race, I would be standing here as a winner, but it wouldn't feel, you know, that amazing, because we are clearly still too slow, you know, so it's just maybe it's a good thing maybe that we didn't win, so we just stay with 2 feet on the ground and keep pushing.
Okay, well, strategy today, you're on a harder tyre than those around you. Track temperature seems about similar to last week. Any concerns getting off the line? You'll presumably be able to go longer into this race and give yourself some options.
I mean, last week it was fine. Of course, there were a few cars behind me on the soft back then, of course, and they were maybe a little bit better, but I think it should be okay.
Okay. A few words in Dutch, please.
A few words in Dutch? Oh. Ja, ik ga natuurlijk altijd voor het podium. Maar ja, we zien wel tijdens de wedstrijd wat er gebeurt. Ik maak me er niet te veel druk om. En ja, hopelijk kunnen we een beetje Mercedes volgen en dan gewoon onze eigen race rijden.
Thank you. So Alex, better, I think the flow you've had during this weekend seems to be a lot more together than the previous Grand Prix, but it still looks like you're still trying to iron out some balance issues with the car. So where's your mind at after the back of qualifying, right there on in the thick of it?
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, to be honest, I thought it could go a little bit better than it did. When you look at, I did an old set of mediums, and then I put a new soft and it only went a tenth quicker, so yeah, it's not ideal, but at the same time, it is a step forward, I think, at least for the car. I feel like a little bit more in tune with it, and it's kind of doing what I wanted to do now, so yeah, it's progress. Obviously, it's still further back than I want to be, but race pace was good last weekend, and hopefully we can, yeah, get through the pack.
Well, your race pace has been pretty good though, and you've shown that you're not shy to get stuck in with overtakes. So this is an opportunity for you to come through and try and get some big points.
Yeah, and especially we've got 2 stops now. I mean, we'll see, but some might try the 1 stop, but it just opens up the strategy a bit more, and hopefully if you are stuck in traffic, you can, you know, find clean places on the track to pit in, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay, we wish you luck.
Okay.
Lando, so yesterday you got the maximum out of the car in qualifying. Obviously not where you expected to be.
Yeah.
The gap between Mercedes and you guys is the same, but it seems that other people have improved. Why do you think that is?
I think the biggest explanation is probably the wind. I think maybe two things. I think the wind played a big part. I think like Friday the wind was similar to last weekend on Saturday and Sunday, and we were relatively competitive. And I think as the wind changed direction overnight into Saturday this weekend, it didn't work out so well for us. And I think we just struggled a bit more in those conditions. And I think Daniel just did a much better job than he did last weekend. So yeah, I think the combination of the two, but I think we still did a good job. It's just, this is realistically a bit more in the position that we should be.
You don't think it's down to the helmets?
Maybe a little bit, you know, a couple tenths, but not the 8 tenths or whatever, that he went quicker than us. So I don't know, I think it's going to make for a difficult one today. You know, it wasn't like he just beat us by 1/10 and just pipped us. It was a big chunk that they were ahead of us. So and then we still got Ocon behind us, so whether or not he's going to be as competitive as what Daniel is, we're not too sure yet. But it's going to make for a tricky race.
It's also going to be really hot today compared to last weekend's race. So hoping you're not going to have the tyre failures with the higher front pressures. But it's sort of thinking on your toes a little bit more when it comes to the strategy.
Well, I mean, I think from probably all of the interviews and what everyone said, you know, everyone's trying to stay away from the soft tyres. They're not nice in terms of the race pace, and they can't do that many laps. So I think everyone's going to be between the medium and the hards. 2 stops. More likely to happen than the 1 stop, but people can still try the 1 stop, but it's just a bit more risky. So I think it should be a bit more exciting than last week in terms of a general race. But yeah, I think we've got to be on the side of caution and hope that what happened to him last week doesn't happen to me.
Him.
This
Over to him. Thanks, Lando. Carlos. Yeah, tricky day yesterday, but let's look back at last weekend. Fantastic start, aggressive. I guess you got to do a bit more of the same this week.
Yeah, a bit more of the same, hopefully. I think second time around, people like Lando or others that I passed at the start, they might have learned the lesson. So it's going to be a bit more tricky to get more places at the start, but still I think the race is going to be a long one. It's probably a bit of a different race compared to other weekends where we, as Lando said, we have the opportunity to stop and create a bit of a different scenario with the pit stops and all that. So I don't know, I think it's going to be a different race than what we're used to lately in Formula 1, so hopefully we can we have less to lose starting in P12, so we're going to go for it.
Yeah, and I guess with your experience, it's going to make a bigger difference today with strategy, understanding the tyres, how hard you can push it.
Yeah, no, I think we have a very good chance to recover from a poor qualifying yesterday. Unfortunately, we're still going to carry this little deficit that there is in my car this weekend, but even with that, I still feel like we can, you know, we can fish a bit in the pond. You know, I think the 2-stop races, they always bring a bit more excitement to Formula 1. So the softer compounds, the blistering, the opportunity to run the harder tires for me, I think it's an interesting case, and we're going to try different things and see if we can make it happen.
Excellent. Would you like to say something in your own language?
If I have to?
Yes.
Bueno, hoy tenemos una carrera interesante por delante. Yo creo que por primera vez en mucho tiempo en la Fórmula 1 va a ser una carrera más a 2 paradas que a 1. Por lo tanto, yo creo que se presentan oportunidades. Desgraciadamente vamos a todavía en mi coche tener un ligero problema de velocidad punta, pero aún así queremos intentar mejorar lo máximo posible el resultado de ayer. Vamos a intentar arriesgar un poco más. Hay menos que perder empezando el 12 y vamos a ir a por ello.
So, Nicholas, reasonable qualifying yesterday. Still a little bit of time there, though, to be found. So, tell us where you need to work and how you're feeling ahead of this Grand Prix.
Yeah, just in general, I think yesterday just kind of highlighted still the biggest area for me to improve is just putting together a proper Saturday qualifying session mainly. I mean, I've had really competitive practices. I know I could do the laps, but the conditions became a bit trickier with the wind, and I just struggled to do a lap that I was, happy with and satisfied with. So I feel we could have been further up.
Yeah, we've just had a bit of an accident behind you. I hope that's not a fragile part.
So yeah, I feel I could have done a better lap, but nonetheless, it could have been worse, and looking forward to the race today.
Okay, I feel that we've been set up by your mechanics there to do a wind-up, but anyway. Right, race today, strategy, we're expecting 2 stops. What's realistic? Because you have simulations that tell you best case if everyone finishes, is that 15th, is it 14th? What can you expect?
I think, well, you know, anything can happen in the race. I think one thing wouldn't be for sure is anyone who tries a one-stop, it will be a very difficult one to manage. It's definitely not out of the cards. You know, I think just the fact that they brought the softer compounds is going to make it, you know, more beneficial for us because it just adds an extra element, maybe something we could take advantage of through strategy, through mistakes of others. So, yeah, 1-stop or 2-stop, I'm sure we'll choose the right call, hopefully, and yeah, move forward is the main thing.
Okay, good luck with that.
Thank you.
So George, you've been having a pretty solid start to this season. You're looking on top of the car. Quite frankly, you're looking like the real deal. Now, I know you haven't doubted that, but this is great messaging for your career going forward. But in the here and now, what can you realistically expect?
I mean, our Saturday pace has been pretty mega. We've put a bit more emphasis the last 2 weeks towards the Sunday. It's tricky, you know, we're fighting the Haas and the Alphas. The next group are a decent step ahead, but you know, we're trying to fight for points, but I think still at the moment that's a little bit too far away.
Well, never say never, of course, because
never.
in racing anything can happen. You would probably be praying for a wet race or something that really shake things up, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen this afternoon.
I don't think so today, no. It looks a bit sunny out there, so you know, we've got to be ready to capitalise on a crazy race, however that happens, like we saw in Austria in the first race of the year, and be ready for that. I think that's the only way we're going to get a really good result on the Sunday, but I think the progress we've made from last year has been a real booster for all of us, for me, for the guys, you know, to actually be in the fight now and not just be off the back of the grid is very satisfying.
And finally, we saw this week that Valtteri Bottas has been confirmed again for another year at Mercedes. You've been part of the Mercedes system. Does a little part of your heart sort of skip a beat on the bad way when you see that he's doing a good enough job to keep a seat you would want?
Yeah, Valtteri's been doing a great job for the team. You know, he's been there now for 3 or 4 years, and you know, it's a good combination with him and Lewis. And like I've said before, when I signed with Williams along with Mercedes, that was a group deal. It was always a plan that I'd be here for 3 years, so nothing's changed there. That was always part of the plan, and all I can do is just keep on performing and see what that brings me.
Okay, we wish you luck.
Nice one, cheers.
So Pierre, very different to last weekend. You're more of the hunted rather than the hunter, starting in P7.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we had a great qualifying yesterday, starting P7, which is our best starting grid of the year so far. So we have quite a lot of fast car around us. Yeah, starting with Charles right behind us. We have Lance with the Racing Point ahead of us. So yeah, well, I think it should be a pretty exciting race for us.
Yeah, you guys made a lot of progress from the weekend before. I think it's you and Renault really that made the biggest progress from one weekend to the next. What would you put that down to?
Yeah, to be fair, I felt great in the car. I think we didn't change massively compared to last week, but just fine tunings, and I think everything worked out pretty well. I think everybody lost quite a lot of pace compared to last week with the different wind conditions, track conditions, and we managed to keep pretty much the same pace, which worked out really well for us.
Yeah, and today's going to be a real race of thinking on your feet, you know, with the wind, with the high temperatures, so many different choices of tyre, and also 1 or 2 pit stops.
Yeah.
You guys have had the simulations, but yeah, it's one for you definitely in the race to be thinking on your feet.
Yeah, exactly. I think the start of the race, especially starting with the medium compounds, yeah, will be very important because you can undercut, you can overcut, and I think that this will be the key points. Obviously, after that, we still have many laps on the different compound where we can fight, but yeah, we expect a close battles with all the cars around us, and I must say I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. Would you like to say something in your own language?
Yeah. Ouais, du coup, non, vraiment très excité pour la course cet après-midi. On a une très bonne qualif hier, meilleure qualif de la saison pour l'instant. On part en 7e position. On sait que ça va être une course intense. Va falloir se bagarrer, les voitures très rapides autour de nous. Et non, j'ai vraiment hâte de voir ce qu'on va pouvoir faire cet après-midi.
Merci.
Merci.
Daniel, you ready?
Jensen.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Do you like it?
No.
Well, you're just about to go and put on a giant baby suit, so you've got to like this outfit.
I know, it's unusual.
Daniel, so yesterday, tough day. One, because you got your time taken away that was easily through to the next session, but also damaging the car. Tough one?
Yeah, there is actually like nothing to do with damage and nothing to do with track limits actually. There was a big gust of wind and it cost me time, so I don't want to talk about it, just want to go racing really. I just can't wait to race.
Yeah, the car seems to be actually working well as well, so it's even more annoying. But today's another day. Gonna have a fun one out there. There's a lot you can do in terms of strategy. One pit stop, 2 pit stops, different tires. You looking forward to it?
Yeah, exactly. And I know I'm quicker than most of the cars ahead of me, so it's going to be fun, trying to overtake as many cars as possible in front. I know I have the pace. I know I have the opportunities in the race, so it will be interesting to see how we can play those cards.
Oh, an aggressive Daniel. I love it. I can't wait for it. Would you like to say something in your own language?
I have to, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Сегодня посмотрим, как пройдет гонка. Я буду стартовать немного сзади, поэтому у меня будут хорошие шансы атаковать впереди идущие машины и постараться обогнать как можно больше машин.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
So Kimi, it is painful, I think, to see the difficulties that Alfa Romeo is having right now. I guess all you can do is your job, which is drive the car as quickly as possible. But where are you in your mind on this? Because we've been used to seeing you win Grand Prix, championships and the likes.
Yeah, obviously it's far from ideal for any of us, but this is where we are and that's the reality of the story. And we just need to keep trying and figuring it out. Obviously, it's not going to be a quick fix. If it would be a quick fix, it would be done, and everybody would always fix it very fast. But we need some time. We need to definitely, do better. But right now it's quite painful. But we try, and then obviously when you're in a position, you got to take chances on one lap because otherwise we are anyhow in the last place. So then it's easy to make mistakes when you're pushing over the limits and try to, by luck, get it away with it. But that's how it is. I think in the race, hopefully we can be slightly better. Last weekend we had some issues with the car. Hopefully this time we can, let's say, get the best out of the car that we have and then see what happens.
No problem for you to get motivated when you've got those difficulties? Racing gets the adrenaline going?
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing to do with motivation. Obviously, it's disappointing for everybody. It's always more fun when you do better, but it doesn't mean that we don't try or we don't do our job. We still keep doing, and it's a bit painful, but it's not always been fun and happiness and games in here. So, over the years you learn that sometimes it's more difficult than others, and that's just a part of the game.
Okay, well, we wish you luck for the race. Now, a few words in Finnish, please.
No, varmaan vaikea kisa tulossa, että ei tietenkään kauhean nopea auto ollut, mutta toivottavasti jos mitään ongelmia auton kanssa niin kuin viime viikonloppuna, että saataisiin maksimi siitä ja katsotaan mihin päädytään.
Thank you very much. Antonio, again, following on from what I was saying to Kimi, it is a difficult situation when you have a car that isn't as competitive as you'd like, but actually for you, the fact that you have a teammate that can be comparable in performance, you must feel good with the way that you're matching him and then in this case here, beating him.
Yeah, I think it's the only positive things I would say so far. But like you say, I think we had difficult weekends. First weekend we were able to score points, and I think it was good things. But yeah, like you say, the speed is not there, and we're struggling, especially in quali. The race pace I think is a little bit better, but of course, starting from the last row will be really difficult. But we need to be positive and try our best and achieve our best result.
Okay, now a few words in Italian, please.
Sì, è situazione non facile, soprattutto in qualifica, facciamo ancora molta fatica, però dobbiamo comunque rimanere positivi e cercare di fare il nostro meglio oggi. Sappiamo che il nostro passo in gara è meglio rispetto a quello della qualifica, quindi dobbiamo portare a casa il miglior risultato possibile. Thanks, man.